Greetings from the Donald W. Reynolds Journalism Institute. Today we're going to talk to RJI fellow Kristen Hare. Kristen's project is all about obituaries and where they're headed in a digital world. You know, obituaries have been an important part of a newspaper for a long time. They've also been an important part of a community's information diet for a long time. And for a relatively short time, they've been an important part of many newspapers' bottom lines. And that intersection of where the money meets the community service is what's keeping Kristen busy these days. And that's what her fellowship is really taking a deep dive into. Hi, Kristen.
Hi, nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. I wanted to say your monthly updates on RJI Online have been terrific. They've been just so informational and so inspirational. I just wanted to thank you for doing that, and thank you for doing this fellowship.
Thanks for giving me an excuse to report all of this stuff out.
And this month is no exception. I think, as I said, the obituary has become an important revenue source for newspapers, but it's not without some unintended consequences. And maybe you could talk a little bit about what you've found as you've been kind of diving deep into the obituary landscape.
What I have found as an obituary reporter is if I'm just counting on paid obituaries in the newspaper, I'm missing a lot of people. And I'm primarily only seeing the stories of white people, particularly white men. And for newsrooms that have to reflect their community, this is a problem. And one of the reasons this is a problem is because it becomes cost prohibitive to take out anything more than a few lines in an obituary. So I have some workarounds, but I think there are some other solutions out there that are worth exploring.
Well, yeah, and that's what I wanted to talk about a little bit more. What are some of the potential new approaches that maybe you've kind of been thinking about in terms of helping a newspaper be more inclusive with obituaries and tell more stories of their community?
So this is all still very in the kind of sort of fuzzy space of my brain stage of things. But there are newspapers, there are publications that run free obituaries. And one of them is Berkeley Side in Berkeley, California. And this is an online newsroom. It raised $1 million a few years ago in a direct public offering. And I reached out to their editor-in-chief, Lance Noble, to find out how and why they run obituaries for free and how are they leaving that money on the table. And he said that they view it as a service to the community, and it often leads to people becoming members and supporters. So it's not a lost revenue opportunity, but instead they're looking at it in a different way. So I think we have to start asking ourselves about alternatives that don't further or grow the business model for local news, but do start to build back trust in accurately covering a community and all of the people who live there.
Yeah, no, that's great. And I think the idea about finding the people that can tell those stories is going to be important going forward. So tell us what's next for your project.
So we have got the sign-up page for a newsletter that we're going to be starting, a free newsletter called How They Live. And the idea behind it is that, obituaries tell us about people's death, and we want to feature stories that remind us of how our neighbors and community members lived. I have gotten a great response already from people who are excited to see that newsletter.
Yeah, and I think it's great. I'm looking forward to how it turns out. I think a newsletter with obituaries, it's now's the time. So very good.
It feels in some ways more important than ever that we give people a space to mourn and grieve and just be a community. And so I'm hoping that this newsletter can be one of those spaces.
Yeah, me too. So, all right, well, thanks, Kristen. For more information about Kristen's project or to sign up for her newsletter, visit rjionline.org. Thanks for watching.